Welcome back, everybody, to Guardians of the Podcast. We're your host, Nikolai Gibb.
And Stefan Para.
This week, we're here to review The Mummy, 1999. Such an old film, but
Yeah,
I love
old
it.
but good.
Yeah, old but
Oldie
good.
but Goldie.
Just a little warning, spoilers ahead. So, if you haven't seen the movie, which it's been like, I don't know,
It's
forever.
been 23 years. 22 years? 22 years.
That sounds right. So yeah, if you haven't seen the movie since, like Stefan hasn't,
There's no spoilers at this point. I'm sorry.
spoilers ahead.
After 2 years, I don't think there's spoilers.
Hey, okay, so Stefan, I want to ask you before we get into reviewing, what did you, since you've never seen the movie until now, what did you expect the movie to be like?
Well, from watching the trailer and from watching a few pictures online, I honestly thought very poorly of the movie. I thought it was gonna be like a really low income kind of movie, but it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I love this movie. Like it's so good in my opinion. Like I don't know, it's got that adventure, it's got horror. I love it. Those are like two of my favorite genres: adventure, horror.
Yeah, I think that Brendan Fraser definitely carried this movie. I think
all the actors were like top, not like everyone had like their moment to shine in this movie. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's some actors that are like,
you got comedy relief, and it's great comedy relief, and yeah.
Would you consider this action or comedy? I mean, it's definitely action
or adventure. It's like all over the place, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, horror is not. It's not like definitely not horror. It's basically like two scenes that they have horror in it.
It's a little bit horror, but you know, it's got that bugs crawling underneath your skin. It's like,
oh yeah, that was it.
And you got like the mummy hunting down people. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into this movie, The Mummy, directed by Steven Sommers, with a box office of $416.4 million, with a budget of $80 million. So they made some good money. Not as much as like movies these days, which are making like billions of dollars, but you know, that was a 1999 movie. Nowadays we have more of a international release, so that bumps up.
That's true. At the same time, like you watch this movie, for example, and I don't know if it's because I'm a 90s person, 90s kid, but like I watched this and I feel like this has more thought into it. Like it has more plot, like more of like a developed story. Yeah. And then you watch movies nowadays and they're just basically, or they just feel more hollow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because like movies nowadays, I feel like depend a lot on CGI and big like graphics and like wow factor. Well, this movie it did have a lot of CGI in it and a lot of practical effects, but like a lot was more into the story and characters, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so a little quick synopsis of the movie is: after discovering an ancient book of the dead, Evelyn unintentionally sets loose a 3,000-year-old mummy back from its tomb. It is said he will bring with him the 10 plagues of Egypt, unless the surviving explorers can find a way to stop him. There you go. Now we're going to jump into our five pillar system.
They find a way to stop it, but they also find a way to start it.
Yeah. Gotta love those kind of stories where they start the problem, then they have to fix it, you know?
Yeah.
So basically with our five pillar system, we analyze the five pillars, which we have plot, characters, score, special effects, and cinematography. We rate them out of 10 and average that score to give you the most objective score possible. All right, so let's get into it. So plot. So basically in the beginning, you got Imhotep, which is a priest for the Egyptians back in the day, is basically having an affair with Alox in the Moon. Alox in the Moon. So they're having an affair, and Alox in the Moon is I believe the pharaoh's.
She's like the pharaoh's like wife, or I don't know if
concubine,
they would call it wife, but like the equivalent. The equivalent of wife.
Anyway, so then basically the Pharaoh finds them having this affair because Aloxamun has like her, I don't know, her paint on whatever is kind of rubbed off, and he's like, "Who's been touching you?" Because no one's supposed to touch her except for him. Because yeah, and so then that's how they find out, and then Aloxamun's like, "Well, let me kill you instead," and and they just start like stabbing him back and forth, and that basically sets off like the guards of the emperor to Aloxamun kills herself because the guards are about to kill her, but Imhotep is then also taken and mummified and cursed
the worst way possible.
10 plagues if he's ever brought back, because he's such a bad person for doing what he did.
Yeah, they also basically gave him like unlimited power, but
yeah,
whatever.
I don't understand why they would give him unlimited power when they hate him so much. Maybe it's because I don't know why it's because they hate him that they gave him all this evil stuff. I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
It's a curse for him.
Like the Book of the Dead, Book of the Dead, bringing back the dead, Book of the Living, killing.
So they gave him a chance to coming back to life, and also the chance to bring back Ankh-Sanamun, and so like
end the 10 plagues of Egypt, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then and then we fast forward to modern day.
It's almost comedic. Yeah.
We basically meet our main characters, one of them being Evelyn, which is played by Rachel Weisz. Yep. I thought she did a really good job, but we'll get into characters in a moment. So you get her in the library, and she basically makes a mess when she's on her ladder and she's trying to put a book back. And like teeters back, and she's like, "Oh!" I thought that was a funny scene. I like that scene.
So you can tell that she's intelligent because she knew all like the hieroglyphics and stuff.
Yeah, she's really intelligent, but
you add the clumsy part to her.
But I don't know. I enjoy her.
You enjoy the clumsy part to her. You add the clumsy part to her because that's what basically cost what the movie is. Otherwise, there would be no movie.
Yeah. and then
it all starts because they freaking burned that map. Okay, that's the most annoying part.
Yeah, and then we got introduced to Jonathan, her brother, and he apparently was at a dig, and he found this weird key thing that they don't understand it's the key yet. But they eventually get onto a boat after hiring O'Connell, who has been to this place before that they want to dig at, where they buried these like top like dead Egyptian people, top class, higher class,
Yeah.
They have all
it's called the land of it's called something forbidden, like the land of the dead or something like that.
It's the land of the dead. I can't remember what they said, but they're headed there, and on the boat.
And it's supposed to be like mysterious, like no one would know where it is and stuff.
Yeah, they found out they also found another clan that was heading to the same place, which are a bunch of Americans. I like that.
And they were displayed perfectly.
Yeah, with their guns, they were like shooting up, like the whole boat, and then Jonathan by them, and he's just like looking at them like Americans.
Yeah.
And he jumps off. Anyway, that was a good part. But these raiders come in and start killing a bunch of people in order to stop the curse, which I think is you could maybe stop people a different way besides killing them. Like, oh, don't bring back the curse. But I guess people are just going to go there anyway. They're going to be like, I don't believe in a curse. Whatever.
Yeah. They just want the treasure. And so I'm pretty sure it's famous to have a big treasure. Yeah. So they just want to go for that.
There's a lot of greed in this. Especially like when they get to the tomb, like when they're digging up stuff, like I don't know, the other Egyptianologist, I don't know what to call it, but the other guy, I don't know what his name is, but he's like telling like there are people that they hired to, I guess, I don't know, I don't think they're slaves. Are they slaves? I don't know who they hired or whatever, but they like he told them to open up like the tomb or whatever, and they like get attacked. What is it? Salt, like it's acid, whatever.
It's acid. It's like some sort of like thing that
burns off your skin.
That like creates pressure, and when you open it, that pressure like pushes back.
Yeah. So they're just
they were burned to life. That's it. They were burned.
Pretty much. But like they're like risking those people's lives,
Mhm.
their greed, and then
They
they
didn't care. They like just mentioned it once, and they were like,
oh, that's
"This
too
is what
bad.
we-"
Well, actually, after that day, they were like, oh, we had a little bad luck, because the main group lost that one guy that was
Oh
trying
yeah,
that swindle his way into the group,
he
and
was kind of
he had that
a
bug
more important
crawl
guy though.
over him. Stefan, what would you do if the bug was inside you? What would you do?
Oh, dude.
That's disgusting.
It is disgusting, but at the same time, it's more than disgusting. It's just worrisome. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
see
like
it crawling.
Stefan, I know that you hate diseases and stuff. That's like your worst
You see
nightmare.
it,
And it's
you see
crawling
it
all
crawling, and you're
inside
like,
you.
okay, this is about to kill me. I know that, and I cannot do anything to stop it.
Well, you have to like, actually
You have to open your flesh.
you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Well, I would have made sure I have my tetanus shot, and then I would have cut my flesh to get the bug out.
And then you need to get like rabies and coronavirus shots for that.
Yeah, all the vaccines.
All the vaccines. So they're raiding the tomb. Benny is leading the Americans, which is the coward that left him earlier in the left O'Connell earlier in the movie. And then so yeah.
Yeah, wait. Are you talking about the guy who like?
He has like a little hat, and he like has all. He's like basically when the mummy comes for him. He's like,
Yeah, like the slave guy,
all the religions, and then he gets to like
the Jewish one. That was weird. Okay, I didn't understand.
Because Jews were like the slaves back in ancient Egypt, and so he
okay.
was like, oh, the slave people, because he recognizes the Jewish people as the slave people, which back in the day, that happened.
That makes total sense. That adds up because I was like thinking like,
Oh, you didn't know why?
well, yeah, I was like, what is the Jewish like?
Yeah, the Egyptians enslaved the Jewish people, and that's when
I didn't add to.
That's the whole story with Moses when he's crossing like the Red Sea. That's who is leading the people that were.
No. I do know the stories. I just didn't add it up.
It didn't click.
No.
Well, that's basically what happened. So yeah, Evelyn. Actually, the Americans find the Book of the Dead, which Evelyn's looking for the Book of the Living because it's made out of gold. And who doesn't want a book of gold? Am I right?
Yeah, Evelyn.
But yeah, she recognizes that the guy.
An angel doesn't do anything wrong.
What?
Evelyn.
Oh yeah, she does.
That's what she basically portrays, and then she's the one who like basically killed the world.
I like the one scene where they're like drinking alcohol.
Oh yeah, that's a good scene.
Like Evelyn's talking like, "Oh, what is a place like this doing in a girl like me?"
Yeah.
Instead of what is
she said,
a place like
what is
I thought that was a great
place like me doing in what is a place like me doing in a girl like this?
Doing in a girl like this. And now I'm gonna kiss you now.
And then she falls asleep.
I don't know, that was a great scene.
That was a good scene,
yeah.
Yeah. That was like their first time they were about to like show love to each other, and then
but she was drunk, so they had like little like cute interactions. Like O'Connell gave her the he robbed it from the other American and gave her like the digging set, and he was like, oh, I got this for you because you'll need it. Yeah.
Oh
yeah. But yeah, I guess they do.
I feel like they did build up everything very well.
Huh?
They did a good job building up like the story,
their loves, and
their loves and
the whole story. Anyway, Evelyn sees the other like Egyptianologist, whatever, with the Book of the Dead, and he's like sleeping. So she decides to take it, and she has the key for it because he wasn't able to open it because of Jonathan's key. So she opens it, and she just starts reading this Book of the Dead.
Read that
because she doesn't believe in curses, and she brings back Imhotep, which like right when she starts reading it, like the mummy like there's a little like scream or whatever. So yeah, brings back Imhotep and basically sets like all Imhotep to go after the Americans because the Americans all have his like jars and all.
Okay, so what happened is they opened another chest.
Yeah,
early had like
open the chest. Yeah,
they had like
but the jars have his organs inside of it.
Inside.
Yeah, but that's why he's going. But they were like nice looking jars that have like gold on them, so that's why they were like, oh, One for
Oh,
each of
this
us.
is worth some. Yeah, because they were walking. They were like, oh, this is valuable as
Yeah.
much as like what you came for, and they were like, ah, that's trash. I think they were looking at the book of.
Yeah, they didn't care about the book. They were like, who
Yeah,
needs a book?
yeah. So
And
they
he's like,
started still
here's your
looking
treasure,
around,
gentlemen.
and they saw like the organ things,
Yeah.
like the organ. What is it called? Like basis, and they were like, oh, that's worth something.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
But yeah, so basically after that they have to run away because the temple thing's like falling apart. So they run away back to Cairo, I believe. And the main gang basically find out that they're being like that they released this curse because they meet up with the one of the raiders that has been raiding with them, like the lead raider, and then the main guy at the museum also is in with them. So basically, they find out that Imhotep's gonna go after the Americans and release all this plagues over Egypt. The sun gets eclipsed. Bad news. Bunch of asteroids come crashing down. They're like, "Dang, what did we just release?" You know.
yeah, yeah.
And
A lot of like the 10 curses or something like that. Yeah,
yeah, the 10 plagues, like the blood, like the
plagues.
water, all turns to blood. And yeah, so basically hunting down the Americans. The one guy lost his eyes and tongue to the mummy earlier, and then gets tricked by Benny. He's like, "Oh, here, meet this king or prince or whatever," and he's like, "I'm very pleased to meet you." And then he just like, "Well, now he's gonna have to take more stuff." He's like, "No." Anyway, hunts down the Americans one by one, makes them really skinny. You know, there's that
Yeah,
one scene where like it's a shadow when Imhotep comes, and that one American's like lifted into the like air and then gets basically eaten, I guess.
yeah. That was a good try.
And
That was a good
Imhotep
try
is
to
regenerating this
make it
whole
look
time,
real.
which I thought it was a really interesting concept with like him.
I mean, it was, yeah, it was a good camera thing. Yeah, but it didn't look that real. But it was a good camera intent. Like it was a good. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I don't
anyway,
know what you would call it. Technique. Yeah.
mhm. So yeah.
Anyway,
So basically, all the Americans get hunted down one by one, and the whole
they took
group
the wall.
a whole group has to figure out how to defeat him. So they go back to the museum where they figure out the Book of the Dead. Since the Book of the Dead brought him back, they think the Book of the Living will kill him. So they decide to find out where it is located, where the Book of the Living is located, which they were already looking for. So I don't know why they didn't already do this research. Anyway, and so Imhotep's coming after them. A big horde of lepers or whatever come after them. They're like, Imhotep,
They were like their.
Imhotep.
Oh yeah.
Imhotep. And so the gang have to run away. Jonathan starts the car, and then they drive away. But eventually, the mob catches up with them, tips over the car. Yeah, and Evelyn eventually has to sacrifice. Like Imhotep's like, come with me, because he thinks he doesn't think she's Alexa Moon, but he keeps calling her that. So he's like, come with me to
Not
Alexa Moon.
only that, I don't think he thinks that she's a.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he doesn't think, but he's going to sacrifice her
Yeah, exactly.
for Alexa Moon. So that's why he calls her
They
Alexa.
used her as leverage,
Exactly.
and then she was about to be killed.
But yeah, he was like, come with me, and I'll spare your friends. And so she decides to make that decision to give up herself. She's like, you guys better finish the mission, and then so yeah, live today to fight tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
And so they get out. But Evelyn and Imhotep leave, and then he's like, Imhotep's like, okay, kill them, and she's like, what? But so yeah.
Yeah.
So the group escapes through a sewer tunnel, and they go after him because they go get a plane, because earlier in the film they were with a World War I pilot, and he was like, I wish I died in the war because my life seems so pointless now. Which I can see like after a war, like how life could seem so mundane to somebody, and that's
yeah, that was the guy who was like at the bar.
yeah, he was like, I wish I died. And now he wants to go down in a blaze of glory. That's why he decides to go with them.
Yeah.
And so he does go down in a blaze of glory when they basically crash the plane. But so yeah, at the very end, they find the Book of the Living, and O'Connell has to like fight all these different mummies, which was a cool sword fight. I think pretty good. Like he brought the sword back and then like stabbed the mummy's head and then brought it down on another mummy. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. But Jonathan's trying to read the book because he's the only one that could read it besides Evelyn. But he's having trouble like translating it. And Aloxa the Moon is like attacking Evelyn. So a lot of stuff going on in the end. But Evelyn ends up like helping Jonathan decipher the book, and basically they get control of the other mummies and they kill Aloxa the Moon, and then they kill Imhotep. Done.
And then
That's just the beginning. Also Benny's like ends up dying because of his own greed, because he's like trying to collect more and more gold to take back with him. I don't know what he's going to use it for, because he just released the worst like plague.
He ended up helping the group or whatever.
Yeah, he ends up, but he puts like his bag of gold onto a lever
on a camel.
He goes back. Oh no! He has another bag of gold that he puts on a lever, and the lever goes down, and that's what starts sinking.
Oh yeah.
So they have to all.
I mean, if that didn't happen, he would have succeeded.
Yeah, he would have been able to take as much gold as he wanted. Anyway, but his greed eventually caught up to him, which it's well deserved, because he basically got everybody else killed.
Yeah.
And so
never trust levers if you're in Egypt.
And even at the end, when like he's like crawling through the last tunnel, Benny, and O'Connell's on the other end, O'Connell's like, "Here, take my hand." Oh, even after everything that Benny's done to them, O'Connell's still like,
helping him. Yeah,
I'll still help him.
That was a cool like personality test or I don't know how to call it, or value test. But I was like impressed that he actually decided to help him after.
Yeah, I was surprised too, but I would have left him. But anyway, he ends up not making it in time, and then the oxygen runs out, and his torch runs out, and the bugs get him. A terrible death for a terrible person. And so the survivors escape, and unbeknownst to them, they have gold in their camels because Benny brought it for them. And so they escape with something.
The beetles. Yeah, the beetles. They're beetles. The bugs.
The bugs, yeah, the beetles that got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they escape with some gold.
Oh, and also very important, Imhotep was scared of cats. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Because of Anubis. Anubis is a cat. Cat of the underworld.
I didn't really get that, but I was like, cool.
You don't know your Egyptian, like.
So Anubis was a cat, cool, and then what?
Anubis is like that's why he's afraid of him, because Anubis is a cat. He's basically like the Grim Reaper. Pretty much.
Okay.
And that's why he's afraid of him.
Okay.
He doesn't want to go back to the land of the dead.
But why is he not afraid of him? When he's fully recovered?
Because he's full, like he's mortal again, I guess. Well, not mortal, but like he's full again. They explain it better in the movie, but yeah, O'Connell and Evelyn end up.
Why didn't they just use cats to stop him?
Because when he's at full power, they couldn't do anything with cats.
No, but before that, why didn't they just throw cats at him?
When they found out he was afraid of cats, O'Connell was like, "Here, look at this cat," and then he's like, and
I mean, I saw that part. They used it to scare him, not to.
Yeah, but like, it was already by that time it was too late at the end of the movie. But so yeah, that's the plot. What did you think of the plot, Stefan?
I thought it was really good. I thought, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I thought that 90s movies have like a smarter plot than nowadays. Like I thought it was first of all, I thought it was going to be a bad movie. Then I watched it and I really enjoyed it. I think part of that was because of the plot. I gave the plot 8.0. I think it was above average for a plot.
Yeah, I gave it an 8.0 as well. Just 8 points. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too. I mean, of course, it's like I don't think this was supposed to be like the most like.
It's not gonna be. It's not. It wasn't trying to be like an Oscar winning.
Yeah, no. Exactly.
It was trying to be like a fun adventure movie, horror movie, comedy movie, all that.
I feel like it's a very Brendan Fraser kind of deal. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a fun time, and it is a fun time.
It was a fun time.
Enjoy it. And I think the score reflects that. 8 out of 10, fun time. With
Yeah.
pause, but you know, it is what it is. Let's get into characters.
Let's get into characters. You're right.
Let's move.
Why am I getting ahead of
We're
myself?
moving on to the
Why?
next pillar, which is characters. So
But our next pillar is
so we
characters.
got
So let's talk about characters. So in characters, what I thought the characters did a great job. I thought Brendan Fraser did the best job in the movie. Then
you think he's the best like he's your favorite character?
from the movie, yeah, he's my favorite.
And
Then
Brendan Fraser played Richard O'Connell. We got Rachel Weisz played Evelyn.
Richard Weisz, yeah.
John Hannah, who played Jonathan. You got Imhotep, who was played by Arnold Vosloo.
He did a good job being creepy for sure.
He was intimidating, and he had a lot of CGI work. I don't know if that was like the little dot stuff, that they do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like with Voldemort.
Because he had like some facial expressions when he was more CGI. But then you got Ardeth Bay, who that was played by Oded Fear, the one guy, the one main raider guy. Then you got Benny Gabor, played by Kevin O'Connor. So yeah, those are your characters. I don't know. With me, the top three leads we're all pretty solid. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan. Jonathan obviously brought the like comedy.
Like the comedy, and he did a good job at it. Actually, yeah, you're right. Like
they all had their comedy, but Jonathan was mainly like the big comedy person, nonstop. But
another actor that was pretty cool was like the grave care. What, I don't know his name. Like the one with like the army that would take care of Imhotep.
Yeah, Ardeth Bay. That's what that's what his name was.
Yeah, he was cool too. But the three leading characters were like definitely the best, of course.
And Imhotep, his part was.
He did a good job of being creepy. Yeah.
Honestly, all these characters are really good. It's kind of hard, but I agree with you. O'Connell's probably like the iconic character in the movie.
Because he still had comedy, but he still had like the whole
Indiana Jones vibe, but it's with like its own little kind of twist,
Yeah.
It's an adventure movie. You got to have those types of characters, but
it's just different. It's just a different like. Did you watch the what is it called? Like the Tarzan movie that Brendan Fraser was part of, but it wasn't.
Oh Tarzan. I didn't. That's the George of the Jungle.
Yeah. But you see that vibe that he brings to a movie, like it was the same vibe.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to explain.
But I like him better in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
I don't. George of the Jungle is something else. Let me tell you, not my favorite.
I did watch those because they were on Disney Channel when I was a kid, so I did get a chance to watch those.
I did watch those, but they weren't my favorite. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, all the actors were great. I think my favorite was Rick O'Connell. And
the follow, like it was pretty close. Evelyn was pretty close behind. I don't know.
Yeah.
She brought like a sense of awe to the whole movie. Like everything, she was like, "Wow, this is amazing," because she was like really into Egypt.
Yeah, that and I thought she brought like this sweet character that would be brave at the same time.
Yeah.
And
a little bit klutzy.
Yeah, a little bit clumsy, but at the same time very like.
The movie did have like a damsel in distress kind of thing, but that was like common in the 90s. So,
yeah.
Which I don't think it would be a thing that would happen today,
Definitely not with all the movements going on, but I think she did a great job, and I mean that's what I'm used to. Like,
character in herself,
Yeah.
So
I give it a 7.9 for characters. What about you?
I gave it a 9 out of 10 for characters.
Not bad.
I thought they did I think the characters were the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I think so too. Actually, I think I have it mixed because I put the score in my math thing next. So I gave characters an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5.
Yeah, I think they did great.
Nice. Anyway, so let's move on to score, which was written by Jerry Goldsmith. Some of the standout tracks, I think the camel race track was pretty good, and that
was a cool thing too.
Rock
when they were like
attack. I don't know what it was, but I don't know. It's like it kind of gave it like it made it feel like a vast like desert, like and
Yeah.
a powerful desert too. It's like a bomb, bomb, da
Bum, bum, da-da.
I love it.
Great job, bro.
Thank you.
Really great job.
Dude.
But the camel race was a cool scene.
I like the camel raid scene. Like they were
We'll
just
talk about it in cinematography.
yeah.
So the plot, like plot is not my strong suit, guys. But I gave it a 7.9. I
In
thought.
score, score.
Did I say
And
did I say
plot.
something else?
You're like plot's not my strong suit.
Well, plot is my strong suit. Yeah, but score is not.
Keep your mind.
For score, I gave it a 7.9.
I love scores. I love it.
Yeah, I know you do.
I'll literally
You know,
listen to like movie scores.
You do actually, which is he puts in his Pandora playlist like scores, and I'm like, bruh, I
I
couldn't.
love them.
But I give it a
This one has a
7.9.
really good score. What'd you say?
7.9.
7.9. I gave
Yeah.
it a 9 out of 10
Nice.
because I think like it's a very memorable score. I think
Is it?
I
Is it?
you know, I like going into the movie. I was like, I can't wait to listen to this score because like it's not something that like I could like. It's not.
It's not like Indiana Jones. It's
No, it's
not
not
like
that
Harry
type of
Potter.
score, but like it's pretty close. Like I
Okay.
knew how the score went, but it's not like as iconic as the other ones. Like it's
Dun,
not.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah, it's not
dun,
like
dun.
that,
See?
but like this, it has its own like I don't know, vast, haunting, powerful
Right.
vibe.
9 out of 10 is for Nick. That's good.
Love it, love it.
Gotta move on. Gotta move on, Nick. What's
Move
the
on
next one?
to our next pillar, which is special effects. Special effects. So we're gonna cover some practical effects. They had some sand explosions, which looked amazing. Then you got the juicy mummy. That's what they called it in its tomb. They were like, it's still juicy. Anyway, that all looked really good. CGI, it doesn't hold up the best. You could definitely
Hey,
tell.
chill. You know they were the 90s, right?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying it doesn't hold up the best. You can still you can
Like,
tell it's CGI, but it's not like the worst thing to look at.
no, remember the part where like actually before the camel race, where like the city started appearing in the background. It's kind of notable that it's like a green screen.
Oh yeah, but so that kind of takes you out of the movie a little bit, but it to each their own.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really
And
like.
Tomato kind of wasn't the most, but like if you could definitely lose yourself in this movie and not like.
This is a turn off your brain again kind of movie. Like, just enjoy it.
Yeah, costumes, the wardrobe was amazing. O'Connell had those that like gun like straps, looked great. Looked very adventure-esque.
Really.
And Evelyn's attire was pretty good too. She had when she
All the attire was awesome.
yeah, it definitely had
Very
that like
fitting with like
adventure vibe,
desert.
like raiding tombs.
Yeah, she looked great. She looked great.
She looked great.
I think the whole like attire looked really like what you would see in a desert adventure.
Yeah,
in Egypt. Like, it was really cool.
yeah, for sure. So what'd you give special effects?
I gave special effects a 7.9 as well. Like, considering like okay, of course there were some things that like you would watch now and you'd be like, okay, well that was kind of weak, but at the same time it was the 90s. But most of it was like very bearable, like very good.
Considering that it was in the 90s,
Yeah.
give it
Like,
some slack.
I can only think of two scenes where I'm like, okay, well that was kind of, yeah, I can tell it's fake, but like nothing else that is like, even like when they were you know how they dig through the tomb and then they were like walking in the tomb, and then all the things around them, they looked very like they were very well placed. You know what I mean? Like, you know what part I'm talking about, when they're inside the pyramid digging for like the Book of the Dead, but they find
The very
like the
beginning,
other. Yeah.
like when they do the mirror thing.
Yeah. Oh, that was cool. That was cool, actually. The mirror thing. Is that actually like legit?
I don't know. I feel like it has like some truth in it, but like I feel like this isn't
I don't
like
want to try it.
I don't think that this whole movie is 100% Egyptian accurate.
True, but at the same time, that looked legit. Like I don't know. I don't. It didn't look legit, but it looked like a thing that could
Nice,
potentially.
cool to see. And you know what? If this excites people about Egypt and gets them to like look up what Egypt was really like, that's all they need to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Nick,
Did you
we
say-
should try. We should try. We should try doing like the light thing.
Okay.
Uh,
That's how I'll light my house.
Shut up. Because then you would tell me it's true, but you didn't tell me that.
I haven't tried it.
Well, didn't you just say that's how you like
Like if you put a flashlight against and you shine it towards like a mirror, it lights up the whole
Yeah. But like doing the whole like bounces here, bounces here, bounces here.
Somewhat. It's not gonna look like how it did, but it'll look.
I'm wondering, like maybe
It's
it
not gonna look
could.
like it did, but it's gonna look somewhat. It's like you know how you do like a magnifying glass. That's how the
Yeah.
lights are gonna look.
But
on each
but
mirror.
you know what they failed? You know how that's with the sun?
Yeah.
They would have had to move the mirror like every now and then. Like, okay, let's
Hey.
move the mirror. Okay, let's move.
You don't want to get into the minutia like that.
And they would have moved. Would have had to move all the mirrors. But of course, we don't care about that. I'm just saying, like, like technically speaking. I
Technically,
think, yeah.
what you said you gave it what on special effects?
Special effects 7.9.
7.9. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Wow.
Average.
You chill, bro. Chill. You gotta chill here. You
I'm
forgot
on.
it's the freaking 90s.
All right, let's move on to our fifth and final pillar, cinematography. So the lighting, nice and warm, and I don't know, they have like the nice and warm like desert tone, but it's also dark as well. Just like this picture behind me, that's kind of like how it was lit. It was like dark and kind of warm, orangish yellow, kind of. We got some cool settings. The tomb setting, like when they're raiding, and the boat was pretty cool. It was like it was all practical, so I really enjoyed that scene. There some other cool ones like the library, not the library, but the museum. The museum, like when the whole mob's walking up and they're like "Imhotep." I really like that one part when Jonathan's like running back to the car and this mob starts coming out and then he just like turns, he's like, he just like imitates them and they just walk past him. That was funny.
Imhotep.
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 Some great sets. Sound, not an issue. I didn't have an issue hearing anything. Did you?
No, I did not actually. Actually, you know, I don't know if it was like my TV or anything like that, but the beginning, like this, the music was kind of louder than the story that they were telling. You know, the part where like they were
I
introducing
didn't
Egypt.
notice that, but maybe.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Like,
yeah.
Like they were like introducing like Egypt, blah blah blah, and then also I watched it in Spanish, so I don't know if
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, the music is very like thunderous, booming. So maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch it in a different language.
Yeah. But other than that, like no, like everything was fine. Just that intro part where I was like, oh, repeat that part. Let me see exactly what they mean. Yeah.
So what was your favorite scene?
Okay, well, one of them was when they were racing against the horses. Like that was really funny.
Yeah.
Because
Camels versus
I thought it was like really cool how they started like Evelyn did like some comedy there that was really good, like just like clumsy kind of comedy. Another good scene was
like riding the camel, but it's like going faster.
Yeah, but she's like the first one to get there.
Yeah.
And what other good scenes? I mean, there's many, like the Imhotep. That's a cool scene too.
When they're approaching the museum, when
they're approaching the museum.
I think that's my favorite. It's
Really?
Yeah.
Like all the people, like
what?
Like so many people lined up, just like.
Oh, what do you do with that?
They just look like I just thought of The Walking Dead for a second when I was watching that. I was like, huh, that's kind of like, I don't know, they're zombies.
Yeah, kind of like there were leper zombies. I don't know. That was pretty good. I enjoyed the scene where Imhotep like basically eats the dude in the like with the shadow behind the like.
Oh, what about like when the guy was like checking out the beetles, and then
Oh.
he's like, "Oh, this is a pretty cool beetle," blah blah blah, and then out of nowhere, like the beetle freaking comes to life
Yeah,
and starts eating it. That was kind of like creepy and cool.
it's basically a big like thing, like like a reflection on greed. Basically, this movie has because like basically everyone that was really greedy died.
Died really badly. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone died badly. So
And then
anyone have a nice death?
okay,
I think Winston had a nice death because he died heroically.
yeah,
The pilot.
yeah, the pilot. I know. Yeah. Well, he kind of. Okay, that was a funny part.
Nicest death, smoothest.
That was
death.
kind of like a funny technical part because they were like, "Oh, stay back. This are sand. These are what's it called? What is it called? The sand that like digs you in.
Oh, it's quicksand.
Quicksand. Yeah, this is quicksand.
That was
But-
weird that the quicksand was right there.
Yeah, that's what exactly what I was gonna say. Like they were walking like around it, nothing happened, but exactly where the airplane was, it was quicksand.
Hey,
Everything else was not quicksand.
Emotep could have made some quicksand. He's like, finish him off with some quicksand.
Yeah, I have no idea, but literally,
I like,
like
facial expressions when he was like controlling that cloud. He was like,
yeah.
I don't know. Great. I love
Another
it.
cool part was when he got scared of the cat because I like cats.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
All his facial expressions, especially how wide they like made his jaw go down.
Yeah. What do you think about the CGI when they were doing that?
When he became that twister.
No. When he was like how all the time he was like, "Oh, you made you fooled me." Oh, and then he would do that like.
Yeah. I don't know. It was cool to look at. I didn't mind the CGI. I mean, it was kind of like a little fakey, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I also like that one scene when he's like going through the keyhole with the sand. The sand just like.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I was like, oh crap, she's done for.
Yeah.
Of course not, because she's like the main character, and in the 90s,
yeah,
they never died.
Then he starts kissing her, and then his mouth like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what do you give cinematography?
For cinematography, I gave it a 7.8.
7.8?
Yeah.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Good.
So overall, my score is an 8.2 out of 10. What is yours?
Mine overall is 7.9. So
our official Guardian meter for this movie, The Mummy, 1999, is an 8.05. So basically an 8.
It's a good movie. It's a good, have fun. Watch it with your family.
Like it's a very fun movie with lots of adventure, horror elements, comedy. It's got it all. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I wanted to do the trilogy, but I watched the second one, which I also enjoyed a lot.
The second one is a little less. In my opinion, it's not as good as this movie. The CG,
I think it's less good than this one.
Yeah,
but I still enjoyed it
because, like, there's a rock. When the rock comes out, all CGI. That's like known as one of the worst CGI moments in history. Just that. In The Mummy 2. But like everything else, I love it.
But then, the CGI is not the worst thing to complain about.
No, it's not. Then
the third one, they made it even worse because they
changed the character of Evelyn.
They got rid of Rachel Weisz. Like, how would you do that?
She was like the perfect character.
She was perfect.
Evelyn just has this like presence to her that's very I don't know.
I bet. No, I can tell. I didn't even watch it because
the other lady's just like blah, is whatever. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, the third movie's still kind of interesting, but it's like missing her, and that's the problem with the movie. So she's like you say that O'Connell's like your favorite, and like he's like one of the most iconic people in this movie. But without her,
right after. Rachel comes right after.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Like without her, the movie is like, oh, is this even a Mummy movie anymore? Without her.
Yeah.
But like it would be the same thing if we lost Brendan Fraser. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like imagine O'Connell being another guy.
It's not.
Like, it would be really weird as well.
Yeah. So this movie, really love it. So Stefan, what movie are we going to do next week? It's your choice.
next week is my choice. I should tell you from now.
Do you have your decision?
I mean, yes, but I wanted to discuss it with you before.
Okay.
I was
Next
gonna say
week will be a
Parasite.
surprise.
Stay tuned for next week's. No, okay. Let me give you the options. Parasite.
Parasite.
You said, oh, you already did an international, but how about that?
I'm okay with that.
All right, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah,
Okay,
that's the movie.
we're doing Parasite.
We're doing Parasite next week, guys.
Bam.
Great Korean movie,
Parasite.
second international movie we
Check it
reviewed.
out. You'll love it. I haven't seen it.
And Nick hasn't seen it. Nick, you should record yourself having some reactions to the movie.
Okay.
Live action reactions.
I'm excited for this movie. I like seeing movies I haven't seen that I'm probably gonna like.
Yeah.
Well, this was The Mummy, 1999. I love it.
Yeah, we should always have Nick close like that. We should always have Nick mumble some jumble and then.
So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to us, give us a like, and we'll catch you next week. See you later, guys.
See you later. Share the video.
Share it, like it, love it, gotta have it. Cold Stone, eat fresh. There. Science. Do your mummy face.
Mummy faces.
Do your mummy face. Your mummy face.
No, I don't want to do that.
I can't like. This is so wet. Like.